Why do equations always need to be balanced? And what happens if they aren't? By the end of this video, you won't just know the answer, you'll understand it. Just like the hundreds of students I've guided over my 10 years of teaching. Welcome to the Balancing of Equations, where every platform you reach unlocks a new math skill. Your next challenge, solving one-step equations. In this lesson, I'll share two game-changing keys that break down the critical information of this skill. Together, they've helped my students break through confusion and finally get it. In this section, you'll learn why the guess and check method has major flaws. Remember the guess and check method? If we had an equation like this, we could keep guessing and checking numbers until we found the solution, n equals 4. But here's the problem. There are many disadvantages to this method. Problem number 1. What if the answer isn't a whole number? Imagine solving for n, but the solution is 7 and 1/11. How would you guess that? Almost impossible. Problem 2. What if there are multiple solutions? Some equations have more than one correct answer. For example, x equals 2 or x equals -2. The guess and check method won't remind you to check both. Problem 3. What if the equation is really hard? For simple problems, guessing might work, but for more complex equations, it could take forever. So what's the better method? There is a method that works every time, no guessing required. Want to see how it works? Let's unlock it in the next section. In this section, you'll learn how to use the balance method to solve equations, and what inverse operations are and why they're so essential. The best way to understand equations is to picture them as a perfectly balanced scale. Let's imagine a simple story. There is an unknown number of chocolates in the Halloween bag. On the left-hand side of the scale, we have a bag of chocolates plus 2 extra. On the right-hand side of the scale, we have 6 chocolates. And here's the key point. The scale is balanced. Both sides weigh the same. But what happens if I took one chocolate away from the right-hand side? Yes, the scale would tip. This is the most important rule when it comes to solving equations. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you must also do to the other. Let's try it and take one chocolate off from both sides. The scale is still balanced. Let's do it again, subtracting one chocolate from both sides. Now we can see what was in the bag all along, 4 chocolates. Let's try another example. On the left-hand side we have 2 chocolate bags. On the right-hand side we have 10 chocolates. Let's translate that into algebra. We can use the variable b to represent the unknown number of chocolates in one bag. And since we have 2 lots of the bag, we can write this as 2b, which equals 10 chocolates. So the equation is 2b equals 10. Now think, if 2 bags weigh the same as 10 chocolates, how much is in one bag? We need to halve the number of bags, which is divide by 2. Remember, we need to do this to both sides to keep the scale balanced, giving us an answer of b equals 5. Perfect, the scale is still balanced and we've solved the equation. What if we didn't have the visual? Let's now look at the algebra behind it all. Example 1. We did the opposite of adding 2. We subtracted 2 from both sides, getting us the answer of b equals 4. And example 2. We did the opposite of multiplying by 2. We divided both sides by 2, getting the answer b equals 5. This process is called the balance method. We eliminate the numbers around the variable by completing the opposite operation to both sides, keeping everything balanced. Now, what are the inverse operations? The inverse operation is simply another name for the opposite operation. Let's break it down. The inverse to addition is subtraction. The opposite of subtraction is addition. The inverse of multiplication is division. And the opposite of division is multiplication. When we use the balance method, we always use the inverse operation to isolate the unknown. You now know all the key information on this concept. However, can you solve all exam style questions? Watch this next video to master questions easily.